Hello, my name's Michael Conneely and I'm bringing you this video from the beautiful west of Ireland to tell you about 11 key points to be aware of about the new moon of December the 23rd, 2022. Now, as usual, I also give a vision journey to meet and work with the energies of this new moon. So if you feel like it, do that journey. It's a separate video. And of course there's a blog to accompany this video, and there's lots of facts and figures and dates set out there. But before I define the 11 key elements to bring awareness to for this new moon, I want to share with you briefly that we've got a wonderful new website, Love Star Dating. It's an international dating site supporting those on a spiritual journey to find love. It's unusually special because it's supported by 8 healers and astrologers. If you need their services, if they're helpful. And do please note that it's a brand new dating site. Now, most brand new dating sites start with a load of bogus members, but we want to be honest. And so we start with 0 members, but it's free to join. So if you're interested, join the site, and soon thousands of people following a spiritual pathway and seeking love, all can be found on this wonderful site. And by the way, as a second preliminary point, if you want one of my truly expert astrology readings that combine depth Western psychodynamic astrology with the vastness of Vedic astrology, go to my Star Wheel astrology website to book. Okay. Let's now turn to the new moon of December the 23rd. It's at 7 degrees Vedic Sagittarius, 1 degree Western Capricorn. And you can see the Western and Vedic charts for this new moon on my December 2022 monthly page on my Star Wheel astrology website. Now, this new moon is at 10:17 a.m. here in Ireland. That's 9:16 p.m. in Sydney, 5:16 in New York, and 2:16 in Los Angeles. There are a number of truly powerful energies to this new moon, and I feel it's really helpful to know about them at the start of the lunation. It's so important to, put aside a time of quietness at the point of a new moon and to commit to following the pathway forward. And as I said, watch my vision journey, which may help you get bigger awareness and firmer intentions. Now, as I said, this new moon is in Sagittarius. And so the energy we find ourselves in is Jupiterian. It's an energy of blessing, enlargement and sense of purpose, and openness to divine realizations. Now, it's really important or extremely helpful to know which house in your Vedic birth chart is Vedic Sagittarius. Now, there's a very handy page on my Star Wheel astrology website which shows the life areas covered by each house. The heading to these pages is Interpretation. Now, this will help you further clarify the nature of this new moon energy for you and where you'll particularly have to work with it. So at random, if Sagittarius is your 6th house in your Vedic birth chart, this new moon will unlock areas such as enemies, debts, health, healing and disease, work and service, foreigners, pets, effort, resistance to illness, improvement of the immune system. So overall, our capacity to do hard labour, overcoming physical obstacles and enemies. Now, this new moon in Sagittarius is actually square Jupiter, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So Jupiter is super powerful in each of our lives for the coming lunation period of a month. Positively, this will give you even more blessing and enlargement and a sense of purpose and more divine realizations. But beware, us humans can so mismanage divine Jupiter's energies. We can mismanage these great energies by overdoing things, by becoming rah-rah-rah, by glib over-expansioniness, expanding more than we can properly manage. Even it turns into being preposterous. Be aware of that. Now, Vedic astrology doesn't just have the 12 signs. It has, of course, also got the 27 Nakshatras, the 27 lunar signs of Vedic astrology, which are supreme declarations of our emotionally based consciousness, a supreme aid to developing spiritual realization and healing them. And so this new moon is in Mula Nakshatra, the first nakshatra in Sagittarius, and it's ruled over by Niriti, the goddess of death and destruction. Niriti opens our eyes as to what must die now in our scripts and patterns and life path. And so, out of that death and destruction, we arise finding our better new pathway forward. Make the intention to do that. Maybe do my vision journey, it might help. But importantly, Saturn is still making us tie up loose ends, dot the I's, cross the T's. The essential point I'd make is that Saturn, Lord of Karma, hasn't yet reached the point at which he returned retrograde in January. He doesn't reach it until January, the 18th of January 2023. He's gone direct after going backwards from Aquarius into Capricorn. The dates are all in the blog, but he hasn't yet achieved his pre-retrogradation position. So do be aware that you could get quite annoyed at having to sort of tie up this loose end, tie up that loose end, when really you want to be surging forward perhaps. But it's so important for us to create the space and the pacing to tie up the loose ends. There's a divine purpose to that. Now, another essential point is to do with Lilith, our shadow self. That's because Lilith is actually transiting opposition Pluto in the heavens now at the time of this new moon. So the whole issue of what is in your shadow, what has been stuffed into your shadow self, will arise and needs to be faced, recognised, decisions, healing, policies. What is buried in your shadow, particularly in relation to power issues? They'll play a big part in this lunation period going forward. So don't just look into your conscious patterns, attune to your shadow and unconscious. And remember that often it's power that gets buried in our shadow, but also, with Lilith involved, our wild side. Now, the wild side contains both positive and negative, so it has to be handled with awareness and spiritual beliefs. But we need to incorporate our wild side in the way we express ourselves. And often in our childhood and upbringing in this culture, our wild side is smashed down, 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 down into our shadow. We don't even know what he looks like. So this is a time to see if the wild is pushing upwards and is offering to make you more dynamic and beautiful and free at the time of this lunation. As I said, we're getting deeper, and the next deep point is the Gandanta zones. Vedic astrology has a magnificent concept of 3 Gandanta zones, the transition points from water sign to fire sign, the couple of degrees either side of the transition point, where indeed water dissolves and dissolves and dissolves, and we find ourselves in the void when planets are there, in the heavens and in our birth chart. And looking across the void is the first flicker of fire. So this is from Vedic Scorpio to Vedic Sagittarius. The moon of this new moon has just gone through that Gandanta zone. And so it will be helpful to take on board the offering of the Gandanta zone, which is the realization that at the end of the day and every day, this world is actually immaterial. It is Mahamaya, the great illusion. It's ever so important because here we come to burn our negative karmas from past life and to maximize positive karmas not quite fulfilled in past life. But it's not the true reality, and we realize this particularly when Gandanta zones are activated because we have a planet there in our birth chart, or because the moon has just gone through it, or any other transit has just gone through it, as in this case with this lunation. And in fact, what opens up can be a realization that it is the God realm that is the true power and essence and meaning, and indeed that manifests this material world. And certainly I've been so called at the time of this Gandanta activation by the sun and the moon, to work with Avalokiteshvara, the God of universal compassion. And it was meant and wonderful, and indeed doing breath work as well. And my next point is about Chiron, the existential wound within each of us, which we incarnated to heal. It's important to sort of bring awareness of that at the time of this lunation, because obviously this new moon builds up to a full moon. That's on the 6th of January 2023. And the point I'm making is that Chiron in the heavens is actually square that full moon axis. So at the same time as you're doing your lunation journey, starting now, bring to mind, what is your existential wound? What planet, what house, what sign spells it out? And be prepared to integrate working with that with the rest of your new moon work. And there's another amazing deep factor to do with this new moon, and that is the sun and the moon have just gone across galactic center. Galactic center is 3 and 4 degrees Vedic Sagittarius, or 27 degrees Western Sagittarius. Galactic center is an energy supreme mass of 3 million suns crushed into a black hole. But that black hole emits huge energies. And it's so wonderful if you have a planet that's sort of in those degrees or close. But all of us have received that inspiration in the very close run-up to this new moon. Try and attune to that. And lastly, perhaps the essential point, this new moon comes just after the winter solstice, just 2 days after. And the winter solstice is the shortest day. It's the death of the old sun and the birth of the new young sun. And around solstice day, the days are always very quiet. And it's so difficult to start anything new. We can't force it. We mustn't force it. And indeed, from where I'm talking in the west of Ireland, there's Ireland's most ancient sacred monuments brought by the Neolithic farmers who emigrated here from Anatolia and that surrounding area 4000 BC to 2500 BC. And they aligned all their stone sacred sites to the solstices and other astronomical features because they knew the importance of the sun, partly because they were agriculturalists who had brought new crops from their homeland where they could no longer live, but partly because of the divine nature of the sun and how it manifests differently as an energy. For example, during the winter solstice, a death-like energy, and the summer solstice when the sun is at its height. Okay, so I'd like to conclude by reminding you again that we have the wonderful new website, Love Star Dating, the international website for people on a spiritual journey who are seeking love. We're starting with no members, but it's free to join. So join, and very soon the website will be grown to thousands of members, similarly seeking spiritual pathway. And also I would say to you that you can book an astrology reading with me by going to my Star Wheel Astrology website and booking a reading there. And incidentally, my wife Maggie Pashley offers a range of healing modalities worldwide. Many, many, many. And you can find those on www.maggiepashley.com. The address is in the blog and in the description below this YouTube video. Indeed, please subscribe to my blog and my YouTube. So I hope this detailed study of the energies offered to you at the time of this new moon and the 28 days lunation following will be of great use and transformation in your life. Thank you.